So we need to make sure our machine settings are correct. Because you turned it up to a 4 when basting, you now need to turn it back to 2.5, which is standard for sewing. This is a pretty narrow spot that we're feeding through, and what we want the needle to get as close to that folded open edge as it can. But if you zoom in under here, these little teeth, these guys are called your feed dogs. And as you sew, I'm turning the hand wheel, you notice they rotate, and that's what moves your fabric through. I'd like to take advantage by getting as much of my fabric on these feed dogs as I can. So if you have a stitch width on your machine, experiment. This is the dial, and then I'll have you zoom in on showing the stitch or the needle, but it moves the position of the needle when it's on a straight stitch. So I can go all the way to the right or all the way to the left. I want to go all the way to the left. If you don't have that, you're simply just gonna have to line up the folded edge with the needle and sew with more of it off that edge. Stitch width is called that because if you're doing a stitch like a zigzag, it gets wider when you change that width, but on a straight stitch, it just moves the position of the needle. Once again, we're going to start a little ways in on our fabric. We're going to sew a couple stitches, back stitch to the beginning. Oh, see, I don't have enough caught there, so that's fine. I'm going to feed a little bit more under. And once you get going, you're good. What I'm watching for here is just, I'm noticing my fold is going on the edge of my presser foot or just in. You want to get as close to your fold as you can without going off. I'm like 1/8 of an inch, and that's pretty good. If you're not that good when you're first sewing, that's okay. As you approach this, you're going to slow down a little bit. You need both hands here to make sure that this doesn't pull out away from your tie as you're sewing it down. It's going to sound like it's going through a lot of layers, because it is. And you made it through. Sometimes if it gets stuck, you gotta give a little tug on the back. That just helps it get over a really difficult place. Okay, so now we're gonna sew from here to the end, back stitching at the end. I'm gonna go fast, don't feel like you need to do this speed. You've sewn one side, you're going to repeat that on the other side, and then you are done with your mask.